Go.
Ba, ba, ba,
Dun,
ba,
dun,
ba,
dun,
ba, ba,
dun, dun,
ba, ba,
dun,
ba, ba,
dun, dun,
ba, ba.
dun.
Tilted
Tilted
balls.
balls. That was actually super close.
Was it?
I thought so. I thought
There
so. On
must be
this
a
end, it
delay. I
sounded
thought it was
close.
super early. Whoo, good.
No, I mean it might have been a little early, but it was pretty close. Pretty close.
Awesome.
Heck yeah. So how has the week been? Oh wait. Hi everybody. Welcome back to the Kilted Balls podcast. Hope you had a fantastic week. It's Ballbuster and Kilted Dragon Jared again, coming at you with
We are here.
stuff. With stuff. So what do you got? How was your week?
I had an awesome week. I think, yeah. It's been busy. We've been at the warehouse just working away. It's been awesome. Been spend a couple nights there, which is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How is it going from there to school?
Haven't done that yet because
Okay.
Oliver had yesterday and today off.
Okay.
But it's a little shorter.
Is your facial hair manicured to look like that, or is that just natural?
Isn't that awesome? You think I got out some peroxide and put it there?
Yeah.
Get some sun in?
Or maybe shaved a little, like right here.
I need to shave this. That'll take 10 years off. Easy.
So it isn't manicured, is what you're saying. That's pure
Not
natural.
manicured, yes.
So I got my hairs trimmed up yesterday or earlier this week because I was starting to look too shaggy. And people keep saying, "Ooh, is it No Shave November?" And I'm like, "No, I'm just lazy."
Yeah.
Has nothing to do. Like I'm just haven't found a reason to shave, and it doesn't look horrible.
Yeah, no, it looks good.
I'm like, I'm just gonna leave it and let it go. Yeah, I had a busy week too. Like it's sad because this is kind of one of my off weeks. And I remember when the week started, I was like, oh man, this week's gonna be so sweet. I'm gonna get so much done and I'm gonna rest and play and do all the things. And I think I got home Monday at 9:30 at night when I got done with my meetings. And then I think Tuesday I got home at 1:30 a.m. after all my meetings. And Thursday wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
But still,
we had games. That was important.
We had games, and games took us till midnight. We had to do some whooping. Yeah. So.
Right. Yeah, don't include me in the Wii.
Oh, shoot.
I had a tough time last night.
You can't be on fire every night, right?
It was fun. We've talked about Dominion on here, but I just want to say it again, like especially the online. The card version is very good, but the online Dominion is amazing, especially with friends. Like
I don't think I will.
For a long time.
I don't think I'll ever play the card version again.
Yes, I agree. Actually, I saw the card version at a Goodwill, but I was like $3 to shuffle all the cards.
I'm not reshuffling and counting and
yeah.
That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. So I had two interesting thoughts this week. You like have naked boys running behind you back and forth. I don't even understand what is going on.
Yeah, they were supposed to stay in the room.
Apparently, it does not work.
And then Banks, you can see him in the corner with his ball. He's waiting.
He's waiting. He's like, "Oh man, help me out."
He laid down.
So we had a couple things. I had a funeral on Thursday. Oh, that's why Thursday was a long day. Because I had to drive to a funeral, then I had a meeting, and then it was game night. And I was thinking at the funeral, or actually on the way home from the funeral, one of the things we talked about on the podcast is it better to have things happen, death happen suddenly or like drawn out? And so there were multiple people at this funeral that were like, okay, we just had one that was drawn out and we just had one that was sudden. And they're like, and they both suck. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. But I came to the realization as we were talking, like on our way home from all of this, that it's not shocking after you've already been shocked a few times.
Yeah.
Right? Like I'm like, oh, like they're like, well, this was so shocking. I'm like, actually, it wasn't that shocking. Like he was 69 and he had a heart attack. Yeah, but nobody thought it was going to happen. I'm like, when my dad died, I was like shocked. And when Mike died, I was shocked. And when Matt died, I was shocked. And when Grant died, I was shocked. And every time that happens, you're less shocked as it continues on. And so like I'm like, yeah, I was surprised. But now I'm kind of to the point where I'm like, yeah, it's actually not that shocking. That's like the human condition.
Yeah.
Right. So not that I'm not sad, not that I'm not going to miss the people who die. None of that. What I'm saying is after you've been shocked enough times, you're just like, people die.
Yeah. And I mean, there's some people who haven't had that.
Right.
I mean, I don't think we've ever talked about this, but I was in 3rd grade. My best friend got hit by a car a weekend I was at my father's.
Yes, I remember
so
that.
It was like I would have been on that trip, which is crazy to think about. But like that at that age, and then I guess we have talked about this a little bit. Other friends through the years, and I guess I do understand what you're saying because it's not as shocking, and especially like older, stuff like that happens when
you're surprised, right? Yeah. Like you're surprised, but you're not like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Like you're more like. Now, I think the weird ones, the ones that really get you are the ones where it's long drawn out and shocking. So what I mean by that is like, like if a friend all of a sudden got like Lou Gehrig's disease and you're like, crap, this is going to take 2 years. And oh my gosh, they're only 35 and it's going to take 2 years for them to die, but then they're dead. Like that's when you're like, ugh. That's crazy, but otherwise you're like, oh yeah, that really sucks. Like we're grieving and all of that.
Yeah.
But it's not the shock factor goes away. It's like when you've been jump scared too many times or ridden a roller coaster too many times.
Yeah.
It's not as scary anymore. So
yeah, I
was like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
And you have the revolving door.
So those listening, they won't notice, so that's good.
No. If you're listening, you'll have no idea that people keep running behind Kilted all the time.
Friday night, it's busy around here.
It is. Well, and you know what? When you're back at like your other house, I'm sure you'll have like a straight backdrop. Like I'm kind of liking this. Like I'm like nobody like sneaks in on me when I'm sitting here. I'm like I'm kind of digging this right now.
Yeah. Because I'll have 2 different computers at 2 different spots, and I'll just figure out which one I like the best.
Yeah.
So,
and so far, I'm liking this one so far. So,
yeah, I like that spot.
The other thing that was interesting is I'm giving a talk this last week, and like how do I want to say it? Like people are just like not trying, and I'm like, listen.
What do you mean?
Like we were doing work and stuff, and they're just like not. They're like, oh, I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to mess it up. And I'm like, listen, that can't be the thing. Like you just do it, and it's gonna be wrong, and it's gonna be messed up. And I got into this argument with this one person, and they're like, no, because if I do it wrong, then I'm gonna practice doing it wrong, and then I'm gonna think that that's the way you're supposed to do it. And I'm like, oh, okay. And they're like, so I don't ever want to do it wrong because then I'll learn it the wrong way. I was like, okay. And so, as I'm giving the talk, I'm like, I go, people think that like if you do it wrong and you practice it wrong, it's going to be wrong and it'll be stuck in your brain. And they're like, right. I go, and that's why none of you know how to walk right.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, nobody walks right for the first like 5 years. Like kiddos don't get it. And I go, you learn to walk not by trying to walk correctly, but just by trying to walk, and you fall down and you get up, and you fall down and you get up, and you crawl a little bit and you scoot a little bit and you hold on to things and you stumble and you trip and you try and you keep trying. And weird, by the time you're, a good age, you know how to walk pretty well, and some of us can even run pretty well. I'm like, what are you talking about? You did it for a year of your most impressionable time of learning, and it still didn't force you to do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, that doesn't.
People aren't doing like the crazy walk or
No,
whatever.
I'm like, I literally, your arguments don't make sense. I go, it's the argument of people who are afraid to try, and it's what you've been taught by society that you have to do it right or you're always do it wrong. And I go, and it's complete and utter bullshit. I go, that's not how the world works. I go, the way it is you just do the thing. You just do the thing, and you just keep doing the thing, and you try to do the thing better and better, and then it works. I go, you figure it out. I go, that's how this works. I go, trying to do it right every time. I go, that's foolish and it's dumb, and you're stressing yourself out for no reason, and you're not getting the practice you so dearly need because you're just like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't want to do it wrong.
I don't want to do it wrong. I'm like, just do it wrong. Do it wrong all the time. I'm like, I don't care.
I'm learning that right now, playing FC24. I know I'm doing it wrong. Well, because it's the soccer game. Anyone who doesn't play video games. So what I learned that I could do is if I get it just right, I can kind of run past the defense and just kick it in or kick it and miss it, whatever. But rather than like, I know I'm supposed to kind of back up, wait for my team, kick it, and then try to get it in. But it was working while I was at a lower level. But as my team is progressing, it's not working because the computer gets smarter too. But it's that same thing. Like something's even going to come along. If they're doing something and they're doing it really wrong, someone's going to point it out. Or they're going to know, like, oh, I'm not doing this right.
Yes.
Like, I need to go back and tweak something.
Well, and I was laughing. I have a lot of like my girls are in marching band, and marching band got state championship last Saturday as part of this. Yeah, I mean, it was amazing. The performance was amazing. They knocked it out of the park, crushed the competition, which is always fun. But I said, did you guys see their show at the first football game back in August? And everybody's like laughing. And I'm like, it was atrocious. It was a horrible show. I go, and then the next week, it wasn't much better. I go, but they were just state champs with that. I go, not because they started it right, but because they just kept doing it. They persevered and they just kept attacking it over and over and over. And weird, they got amazing. I'm like, you just have to do the thing, and you just do the thing over and over. And I really wanted to, and I didn't, because I didn't want to be like self-serving or out us too much. But I'm like, I literally talk about this on the podcast. It's the point of the podcast is that we just do it. Like we're just doing it, and it's purposeful to show that you can just do something. You don't have to try. You don't have to try to be perfect. I literally have a friend who makes great podcasts, and he's like, oh, well, yeah, I can't do it tomorrow or the next day. I'm like, why? Well, I got to get all my equipment set and I got to get everything ready. Then it's going to take me 2 or 3 days to process. And it's just too long of a thing. I'm like, or you could just record it and do it because you want to see what that episode's going to be like. Right. No. I couldn't do that. Like, I have to have it right. And I'm like, and that's also why you're not a published author. Right. Because you're too worried about making it right, and you need to just do it. Maybe it's easier said than done, but you and I are living examples of it.
And I mean, this isn't, not to make excuses for anybody, but if it's their livelihood, blah blah blah, but still, you got to start somewhere. If we decided we wanted to make this our livelihood, we would have to make changes with how we do it. We do this for ourselves. We do this for fun, and to help our listeners. So we're not trying to monetize. Actually, I don't know. Someone was talking about monetizing something, and I was like, I don't know if we would. I don't like to say never, but I can't see a situation where it's like, oh, we need to start putting commercials in or doing this or that, or like I don't see it. Maybe I was listening to a podcast and there was a commercial. I don't know.
I think early on when we first started doing this, like I made sure every time to make sure nothing was checked for monetization.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's like all these like little things, and even now it comes up every once in a while, and I'm like, no. Now, does that mean like if you all wanted to start paying us $20 an episode,
Mm-hmm.
we would take your money? Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Boy, do I love water out of the tap. It is so wonderful. You can get it anywhere.
But you are right. Like, that's not the point. And so I don't know why we would do that. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would take money. I'm not going to turn it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
I was thinking more like commercials, things like that.
Yeah. But that stuff for sure. Like, never is a long time.
Never is a long time.
But I don't see a reason why I would want to. So maybe in the comment section or something, but
So yeah, speaking of from early episodes, obviously anyone who's been following us for a while, we are fans of crypto. There's been a huge
Mm-hmm.
jump recently, so it's kind of interesting that that's going on, and wondering like what's really going to happen with that. So it's going to be really interesting to see.
Yeah, a lot of differing opinions, and I've been trying to not listen to any of them. I'm like, the miners are mining, and that's what I care about. I'm not.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not playing the game. I have my little bit of XRP, my little bit of ETH3L, my ADA, and I'm just sitting there waiting for all of those to do their things. And
yeah. Actually, it's going back to what you were saying earlier about just practicing and just doing it. So I talked either last week or the week before about the BMX, and so we went to the track again this week, and so you can rent bikes and stuff like that there. So Ollie had the bike that fits him, like a regular bicycle, and then Morgan still has training wheels, so he just got the Strider, and there's a little pump track. So they were on there, and Ollie fell down, skinned up his knee and stuff, and he was you could tell he wasn't really excited. He's not somebody who's gone through a lot of physical pain in his life,
right?
And just like I'm just talking to him like just he's like, oh, I fell down, and mom said the ground wasn't hard, but it's really hard, and he had shorts on, so his knee got skinned up. And I was like, well, good. Now your knee is skinned up. You don't have to worry about skinning up that knee. Like, just go do it. And trying to, he's 9, so I'm just trying to, you try to put that mentality in. Like, just go do it. And, for us, he does enjoy riding his bike, but he doesn't ride his bike a ton. But one thing that the guy noticed right away, he's like, he just sits down all the time. Like, he only sits when he's riding his bike. So he didn't need to go to the big track because the guy's like, he's not even close to ready. He has to stand the whole time.
Right.
So last night we were, just getting him to stand. Like, okay. And I told him at home, like, hey, when you're riding your bike at the warehouse, like, just plan on standing. Like, I look back and I don't ever remember sitting down on my bike. Even at MSU, like, I used to show up to class sweaty. I was all hot because I was like flying everywhere I went.
I was able to sit, but that's only because the seat was so high that my legs were fully extended sitting down.
Oh, that's true. On those bikes we did use, because I was thinking I was standing, but you're right. We had it set up to where you were sitting, but your leg was fully extended.
Your leg would fully extend. So, which is
you're right,
kind of how you're supposed to do it. I tell kiddos all the time, they're like, what? No, like, how do you even get on the bike? I'm like, you stand on the pedals and then sit down.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you sit down and then you start biking. I'm like, only if you're a weirdo. Like,
the BMX is different. They have the super low seats.
Yes.
They're manhandling their bikes.
Yes.
But it was cool. I saw he was watching, like, there were some little guys there for their first time, and I saw him watching them. So hopefully that created a little bit of a spark for him. And Morgan loved it. He's just on his little Strider, but he loved, going up and down the hills and all.
No, I'm sure
it was cool. It was fun.
They probably had a great time. But little kids are good about that. They'll just try stuff and they won't worry. I think it's somewhere in middle school where people stop, like, just trying and doing stuff, right?
Okay.
I know that's what happened like for my girls. Like my girls are amazing singers and they sang in choirs when they were little. You know, Ava won a competition once and then they hit like middle school and they're like, yeah, we're done. I'm like, why? We don't want to sing in front of people. I'm like, you've literally sung in front of crowds, crowds, like things normal people wouldn't. Yeah, but now I'm not into that. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Actually, it was funny because I was thinking about that recently. I was thinking about that Ava wasn't. I was like, when did that happen? When did I miss her stop singing?
Yeah, it like was
something happened I just missed.
And she still has the voice, but you know, she was like, okay, I'm gonna play sax because I love music, but I can blend in. And now obviously she'll like do solos in front of stadiums in the middle of Ford Field, right? Like she has no qualms about that. So, you know, now she's to the other side of that. But I don't know, she'll start singing again, maybe.
Yeah, you never know. She's got good musical talent.
It's a thing. Yep, it's a thing. So yeah, but again, I think people lose that, and then when they're our age, it's like, listen, you got to get that back. You got to be willing to just do the thing and try.
Yeah. Was it a group of teachers you were talking to?
Nah, younger people, peers? Like teenagers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was like teenagers, but you know,
well, good. You're trying to turn them around before they're like in the job world.
Yeah,
because it does happen. It happens. People are out there and they're like, oh, blah blah blah,
all the time, all the freaking time. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's kind of rough, but you know, it is what it is. I think that's an important lesson, listeners. Just whatever it is, do the thing. You'll figure it out as you go, right?
Yeah,
Don't worry about practicing wrong. Just do it.
Yeah.
So
someone will tell you, like if there's someone watching over you, someone will let you know, or you'll figure it out.
That's what I said. And then you fix it. And it's you can fix things. Like this idea that you can't ever fix it. I'm like, you know what? You're right. If you learn how to shoot a basketball wrong and you do it 5 billion times wrong, you're going to be stuck doing it wrong. But what's going to happen is you're going to shoot it a couple hundred times and someone's going to come by and be like, oh, flick your wrist. And you're going to start flicking your wrist and it'll be easy. So,
well, I love it when Gary talks about this because he's like, think of the first time you kissed somebody or you were on a date or just all these different things. Like you were terrible.
It only got worse after that. No, that was my best.
You peaked.
I peaked first time. First time was awesome. It all went to hell. So,
oh man, poor Amy.
Yeah, just the way it is. Sorry, people.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a thing, and I love that we brought it up again. It's so important. It's so important for people.
Yeah. Well, that's my shtick today. That's my spiel.
Right. Sounds amazing.
Heck yeah. It was big. Like I was just sitting there and I was just like, this is literally what we talk about, people. Literally the thing. So, but I'm like, it's so important. I'm like, we're going to talk about it again. It needs to resonate. So
I think it sounds awesome. It was a great episode.
I feel like the light keeps shining on me.
It depends how you turn your head. Well, that's like if I look up, I get my glare on my glasses.
Oh, nice. That's true. So you got to keep looking like this. Nice. Well, people, we won't drag this on any longer. I hope you took something out of this episode, found some of it enjoyable. We're really glad to be talking to you. We love having you here. And this is Ballbuster signing off.
Built the Dragon Chair. Love you all.